Welcome, friends of the ShoutOut Fight Podcast. How are you doing today? Hope everybody had a good summer. Speaking of which, fellas, well, real quick before we get into it, obviously, again, here we are, Mr. Kieran Keddle, episode number 6. Six
I beat Kyle.
Yeah, that's right.
He was on it the last episode,
right,
wasn't
yep.
he? I think 6. I think we've done 6, and some memorable times in those podcasts and some amazing announcements too.
Including today, as a matter of fact. So currently, and the big reason why we're here today, and I know I have some questions, I didn't forget them, but introducing, I know everybody has been very well aware of the WBC Canada and yourself just putting out a video, as well as the festival, the seminars coming to Calgary, all this good stuff. That is the major reason why we are here today. And so I have, obviously, the WBC Canada president, Mr. Kieran Keddle, and Zach, I don't even know your last name, dude.
Zaccary Frankham.
Sorry?
Zaccary Frankham.
Use that thing.
Zaccary Frankham.
Thank you. Zaccary Frankham, and the executive secretary, and myself, the ranking officer, or commander, as you said. That's a better one, I think.
Commander does sound good, doesn't it?
It does. Phenomenal. So, just a couple official titles, obviously, but this thing is rolling, and I know a lot of people had a lot of questions about what this whole thing is about, and so I thought this would be a good opportunity this summer, Zach, as well as you, really kind of steering the ship on a lot of this, and I'm learning a lot, by the way, and obviously the president here, it's not your first rodeo doing this kind of stuff, but tell us how the WBC Canada got introduced, and obviously the seminar's coming up. How did this come about?
Well, it's something I believe that Canada needs, right?
Preach.
We need a sanctioning body that's Canadian for Muay Thai specifically. Mm-hmm. And WBC, when it got launched in terms of in 2019, when we started launching the titles and the belts and all the events that we did, and we affiliated ourselves with WBC, it really put, in my personal opinion, Muay Thai in Canada on the map. Just to another level. I'm not saying it wasn't there, but just to another level. The green and gold, everybody knows.
Yes.
Right? So, COVID, of course, as always, delayed things, and I was always wanting to bring a sanctioning body of WBC Muay Thai Canada to the fold. Once I started looking into the absolute details of it, understanding that there are commissions, there are insurances and rules for this. This is not just, let's just do it,
right,
which I like to usually do, let's
right.
be honest, right? There is more of a formula to it. It's more of a team that needs to be built from it. There's positions like yourself and exactly like Zach as well, to have positions in this, to have a board set up. So I had to time this at the right time. And I wanted to announce it with the masterclass. You know, you bring in Sanchai, Yodson Clyde, Duendoy over with Petch, with Tanit Boom as well.
Right.
And Adrian will also come over, who's the coach of Petch too, the Glory champ.
And friend of the show.
And friend of the show. So I wanted to make a big splash on this announcement of what we're doing and what WBC as a sanctioning body is. It's not just a sanctioning body, it's a membership as well. It'll include grading for the youth to bring them up, to really sort of get them to understand what Muay Thai is and the scoring syllabus. Now, we did this with WBC, the World Youth Games. In my personal opinion, it was a massive success. You think it was
Mine as well.
Oh, you think when it happened, it happened just after COVID, and we still had 160 kids fighting.
Yep.
And a couple of kids from Canada won medals too. And, you know, it was just really, it was the launch of that amateur scene of WBC. So the next step then was to, why don't we sanction events across Canada? Because we can. Why don't we use the WBC name across Canada?
Right.
There's so much talent here. I've talked about it multiple times with you, is Canada has the talent but never had the platform.
Yes.
I can't do it alone, right? I can't do it alone. Obviously, I had the Muay Thai World Cup. That was situated in Calgary, Alberta. Later on, we'll talk about that's going to obviously expand. But I want other promoters to get involved with this, to sanction WBC events, to have WBC amateur titles, provincial titles, West, North, East, all these provinces titles,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
Eventually get to national champion, that can go to international, that can go to world.
Right.
So you have an absolute stage. But I want other promoters to get involved. And the reason being for that is very, very simple. Bridging gaps, building communities. You have to build communities.
Sure.
I know it's hard. I know it's hard because there are lots of things involved in that. There's a business side. There's other associations. There's other parties involved.
Yep.
We're not trying to, we're completely different. We're part of that, but we're actually absolutely concentrating on Muay Thai, right?
Right.
So we want a champion in every division, professional and amateur. We want an absolute ranking system. We want kids to be educated in the gyms via the WBC, which is, in my personal opinion, the highest association for Muay Thai currently. You know, it's got the best champions around the world.
Yeah.
And
So we want that.
Not just for Muay Thai, for combat sports in general, will not find any championship more recognisable than that green and gold belt
That's
across
true.
boxing, across Muay Thai.
Yeah, of course.
You talk about combat sports. WBC is what you think.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true.
Which then spilled into, we had an opportunity for boxing.
Right.
So we want to bring WBC boxing as a sanctioning body to across all the provinces and across Canada, because there is talent here in fight sports. I love boxing. You love boxing. You love boxing.
Sure.
We love Muay Thai as well. But if we can use the WBC name as a healthy part to propel fighters to another level, you know, all the great fighters in the world in boxing and Muay Thai have been WBC champions.
Sure. Yeah, good call. You're right.
Without fail.
Yep.
You know, if you go to history of the legends, you know, Roberto Duran's, the Canelos, Floyd Mayweather's. I don't even need to keep going on that list. Then go to
Muhammad Ali.
Then go to Muay Thai, Yodson Kleis, Sanchez.
Pinka. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Liam Harrison.
Yep.
There's all these names, right, that are associated with the green and gold.
Good call.
Why not have the ability to help shows, help promote shows by sanctioning WBC, whether they're amateur or pro events, and just propelling what I believe is a talent pool. Yeah?
Sure.
And when we did it with Muay Thai World Cup, that was a very different scenario. We did it with Muay Thai World Cup through the promotion.
Right.
We created WBC champions, the Codys, the Jakes, the Tim Lows, right?
Yep.
And then we propelled them, or two of those, onto the road to one, and now they're off on their own journey.
Right.
But with WBC, it's a slightly different entity because it's helping all the promoters get involved in this. It's not just the one. This is helping them all. It's just getting all the clubs together to, if they want to sanction events, we can help them with that. We can help them with the commissions. We can help them with the insurances. We have the experience.
Right.
And this is why I brought a team in. I brought in Zach to help out with a lot of the logistics, the paperwork, the organisations, those sort of things. I'm not very good with that.
No, I hear you. I hear you. We know.
I brought yourself in. Yeah, I brought yourself in with, you know, to help out with the rankings because you have a thorough knowledge and experience of not just the pro and amateur scene as well.
Right.
And then we brought in Mike Zentek to help out with the judges and referees, and he will have assistance from Nash Kashwala, who's the world referee and judges for WBC.
Nice.
And then on the boxing side, Vlad Goldstein, who's going to help out, who's very knowledgeable.
Nice.
We've brought in a whole team of people, right? We've got a treasurer in. We've got Jonathan Will who's going to help out with liaison of commissions to help this pass throughout Canada. It's a process.
Sure.
Yeah, but we need to launch it. We can't hold back. We need to launch it. September 21st. Let's launch it with something huge.
No kidding.
I got approached about doing this as a masterclass. Why not launch it on that day?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And Zach, just out of curiosity for yourself, like we just met only a couple meetings ago as well, but I'm wondering if you can sort of introduce yourself and sort of how you play part in this.
So to introduce myself, my name is Lieutenant Zaccary Frankham. I am currently a officer in the British Royal Navy and a coach through the Royal Navy's Muay Thai team. So the way that this came about and this job opportunity presented itself is my girlfriend's been living in Canada and studying here for the past few years. I then came on to, every time I come and visit, I want to keep myself up training, keep myself active while she's over in class. So I ended up stumbling across Kieran here. And as another Englishman, just ended up bonding straight away. There was no sense in my opinion at the time, going with something I didn't know for any of the coaches. And ended up bonding with Kieran straight away over our many sessions and private classes. But concurrently to that, within my capacity as a coach for the Royal Navy Muay Thai squad, we've since been to Thailand met with the Sports Authority of Thailand and with the president of WBC, which was facilitated by Kieran here, and then later on progressed to the masterclass seminar, such as the one that we're going to be hosting in September 21st, that was hosted in Reading, where I then again proceeded to have further meetings with the president of WBC Muay Thai, Colonel Thanapol, and the General Secretary, Kevin Noon. And within my capacity as a military officer, I am more than able to go on with any sorts of logistics operations or the paperwork side of things. That's my bread and butter. I do that every day, day in, day out. So
Sorry to hear that.
So while I may have been a coach for a lot less of a time than my counterparts here, the side of things which comes down to running meetings, keeping track of whatever tasks it is that we've got going on, and making sure that we progress those is a skill set that I bring onto this team. And when I offered Kieran my services, he was, as it seemed, more than happy for me to take him and help out with the project as a whole.
Nice. And even with the few couple hours that we have together, I can definitely say everybody likes to talk smack. Hey, we should do this, we should do that, we should fly to the moon. Everybody goes, yeah, that's great. Then they continue on with their day. And even just from the little bit of work we've been doing together, I can see that there's always definitely, okay, how do we progress from here every day? How do we, and phenomenal. I that already is attracting to me as somebody who sees it.
Absolutely. There's, every team always needs the people who are going to be dreaming about the end state and the end goal and the absolute perfection of what we want to be. But we've first got to figure out how we're going to get there, and that starts off from us, picking ourselves up off the ground first and getting started. We all know what the end goal wants to be, but it's a long road to get there, and we need to first figure out everything and every stage we're going to hit first before we get to that eventual goal. And I think that's where I come in with the experience that I've got in a military environment to make sure that we can appropriately plan around that and get that progressing in the most efficient way possible.
Nice. Yeah. Damn, nailed it.
Yeah, I think that the important thing with Zach was two things. One, he went to Thailand and met WBC and saw the entity that they are.
Right.
And he met the people,
Which
the
is
high-up people.
That's massive in itself.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then two, he went to Reading, which was the first masterclass, which was in the UK, and he saw the possibilities that it can bring to the table,
Nice. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think you need that. You need to see these instead of just sort of having a few words that fly in the wind.
Right.
You need to see it. And when you see it, you go, why can't we do it in Canada?
Right.
And once we started talking, it was like, look, Zach, as long as we get a board together and a team together with the right-minded people that have the right vision to push this can be possible. It's something I've been thinking about for a while.
Sure.
But it's finding the right people, one. It's two, understanding the laws, two.
Sure.
Coming from a different country, even though I've been here nearly 6 years, there's still variations of the law, including insurances,
Yep.
to make this go past the line.
Sure.
Certain places, maybe in Europe, this could progress a little bit quicker. Not so much here. However, we're doing it the right way with insurance groups,
Yeah.
with actually contacting commissions, getting approvals, meeting people that would be potentially interested in a tourist side of view, right?
Yeah.
Because the September 21st, in our world, bringing Sanchai over, which last time was huge,
Yeah.
but bringing Yodson Klo over,
Yep.
another guy that's never come to Canada, which is awesome,
Right.
personally, and then doing Doi, which also touches the female market a little bit more, multiple-time world champion.
Yep.
I think it's a huge, not just attention for us, but attention for the locals too, and also tourism. It's going to bring a big crowd. I've had contacts from Ontario, Yellowknife,
Oh, nice.
BC, that want to come to it.
Beauty.
Right, so I think it's going to put a lot of eyes on us.
Nice.
But positively.
Right. Of course.
But not just coming into town. Look at us. Look who we are.
Right. This is the start of something big. Help us celebrate.
Yeah, and why can't there be champions from all these provinces?
Yep.
Why can't there be?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, as a promoter point of view, so I have to switch off for a minute. Promoter point of view, when you do an event in Calgary, you basically have to look for the local fighters because they're the ones that will bring an audience.
Right.
This perspective will, as other provinces, we will support them with giving them a WBC potential title if it's,
Right.
working in the rankings.
Right.
To help them promote cross-province fights.
Nice.
Which I've always wanted.
Sure.
Right.
And didn't only really happen until quite recently, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just we're a giant country. We're too far apart, and you kind of fought locally. And once in a while, you got to cross to the other side.
Yes.
Whether it's east or west.
You'd know all about that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of the time, the big fights now are really Ontario and Alberta.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why can't we find a diamond from BC?
Right.
There are some good guys up there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, why can't we find a diamond from Nova Scotia?
That's right.
This will give a chance for a promoter to say, right, we can use WBC, we can sanction the WBC, let's look at the rankings, let's fly over someone from BC to fight the Nova Scotia, and we'll make it an East Coast division, you know?
Right.
And we build them up, right?
Exactly, as I was saying to both of yourselves the other day, it's in my opinion that people will grow to the size of the opportunity that you give them. So at the moment where things are held very provincially and very locally, that is the level that people are fighting at, not through any fault of their own, just because that's what's available.
Right.
Whereas through the WBC, with it being a national sanctioning body which will govern everywhere nationally equally, will give those opportunities to people to grow themselves and to better themselves in that sense, where they can then progress their own fighting careers with that series of titles that will come along with it.
Yep.
People grow to what you give them, and we're there to give them everything they want.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
this is going to help promoters, clubs. I want all the clubs to be involved with this, right? Because at the end of the day, although this is a fantastic concept, we need the support.
Right. Right.
There's no denying it. We need all the clubs involved, and we will support the clubs backwards, you know?
Yep. Yep.
And with the growth of amateur tournaments, whether it's Muay Thai or boxing, we'll have another conversation in 2-3 years, hopefully on ShoutOut podcast 603.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll be talking about, wow, we've got too many guys,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
That's right.
I
Yep.
think we've got to a very good level at the moment.
Yep.
And we've always discussed about some of the great fighters that have come out of Canada. Claggett with boxing,
Yep.
Peacock with Muay Thai.
Yep.
And they're amazing, but they're in their 30s.
That's right.
We need to find the kids, the teenagers, to come through,
Yes. Agreed.
get through that system
Yep.
of actually having regular competition.
Yes. Nice. Beauty. And yeah, I mean, between a regional title to a provincial to state title, Western Canadian, whatever. Like those are just opportunities that weren't there for anybody. Therefore, there was what maybe, speaking from my experience as a coach, been around a long time. You hoped to take a fight, and you went, "Yeah, I get a fight,"
Yeah.
and then you fight, and you go, "Maybe I can have another one." But now there's stepping stones. Like it starts
That's it.
there, and there's something to be excited for.
Absolutely.
And it's not under Jay's Fighting Championship. It's the WBC banner. I mean,
That's right.
You can be
But-
proud of that.
But it's open to everybody. That's the other
Right.
thing. It's not just, there's the one show.
Right.
We go to Ontario, they're the only ones that promote WBC. It's not. It's open to other promoters that want to come on board with this. So
Nice.
you use the ranking system exactly like how worldwide professional boxing is done, right? Where you have the best eventually fight the best.
Nice. So
Round up.
So okay, hey, great. I'm promoter Jason. I own JFC Jason Fighting Championships. Sounds awesome. How do I get on board? What do I do?
Very, very simply, our website, of course, is still under construction, but we'll be there very, very soon.
Okay, cool.
One of our main objectives is, I believe next week, is we're going to have a ranking system which will have people to enter in.
Nice.
Okay.
Which is one of thousands of questions. I had that same question. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, I mean, we
Right.
did it with Muay Thai World Cup, and then after a while, we didn't get lazy with it. It was more the fact of, hold on a second, it's more of a promoter ranking, and that's what I didn't want.
Yeah.
I wanted a ranking through the WBC where other promoters could use that system, and this is separate from that, right?
Yes, nice.
So that's the first thing. If you wanted to promote a show, you would obviously send us an email. We would reply with, okay, that's no problem. We can work through the sanctioning. We'll help you with the commission in your area. Are you doing pro? Are you doing amateur? Are you a member of the WBC? There's lots of these questions that will fire back to you,
True.
right? And of course, we want you on board to be a WBC member, which will just help the system. I'm going to be honest with you. The be-all and end-all behind this is the bottom line is I've seen, no names mentioned, I've seen amateur tournaments across the world where a tournament has happened and all of a sudden I've seen a fundraiser in the gym, right? That's still going to happen. I'm not going to deny that's still going to happen, right? But wouldn't it be great if the organisation could give something back to them?
That would be the ultimate.
Yeah, so down to sponsored tracksuits,
Right.
down to we'll pay for your hotels. So the idea of all the clubs getting involved is, and we'll be very transparent from start to finish, and we'll do annual meetings as well. So everybody that becomes a member will have a monthly meeting where everybody has a say. There's not many other groups like that.
Sure.
It's literally one person, one say. That's it. I want everybody to have a say, an opinion. Maybe a law change. Let's vote on it, right?
Nice.
But if we can accumulate financials from that and give back, where we could pay potentially for the 4 or 5 coaches.
Right.
Being a family man yourself,
Yes,
both
sir.
of us, it's very difficult sometimes when you've got a business to keep it afloat, and then you've got a guy that fights in Thailand.
Yep.
And they want you to be there, of course, you know, but you've got to pay out your own pocket to be there as a coach.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be great if the organisation said, hey, we'll select 4 or 5 coaches, we'll pay for you guys to go, we'll pay for your hotel, there's your tracksuits.
It's a dream
It's
come
only
true.
a little bit,
Sure.
but it's something more than what others are giving, right?
That's right.
So the idea is that we accumulate the memberships here, we build them up, and we give back to the community. We
That's
give back to
unbelievable.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you're giving to the WBC through your time, blood, sweat, and tears to fight on sanctioned events through us, we should absolutely be giving back to you to give you the further opportunities outside of Canada once you've made it up to that height. We recognise that as a sanctioning body for the country, our highest level that we will be able to sanction is the national title. But at the end of the day, we still want to promote and push our guys who go up to those heights onto further levels. So if we can support that after giving that time and effort, as I said, to the national level, will absolutely help once it goes further beyond that.
Sure. Nice. That's unbelievable. So now, let's say I'm a promoter, and okay, sounds cool. My guys get fights, but how does a promoter benefit maybe from being part of the WBC?
Well, first of all, the marketing side of things.
Without a doubt.
WBC is massive, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And a push from that. 2 is our knowledge and help with the commissions. You know, especially with myself being over the years with trying to promote shows in different commissions.
Sure.
We also have team members that can help that go over the line. We understand each province has different rules, different systems. We know a lot of that already, right? So
Yep.
we will help with that. 3, of course, if there is a potential to bring a title to a promoter, we all know that having a title on your promotion does make a difference to sales.
Yep.
For them. We're all for them. We can help them with the pay-per-view and how you can direct you towards good pay-per-views. We can help you with how to get more bums on seats, how to
So there's
push it with
massive
marketing.
benefits to being part of this.
Insurances.
Sure.
Which,
Right.
since coming from England to here, I've learned way more about insurances than ever before.
Sure. Sure.
And all the legalities behind it. So we even have an insurance company, and Nakura. Do you use Nakura? I'm not sure, but
Yes.
we use Nakura. Yeah, he uses most of the gyms. They're now involved with WBC, and they'll be giving discounts to every gym that gets involved
Nice.
to be part of this group. And if you promote, they'll give discounts to that as well, because they want to be part of the WBC and its growth. They understand the vision.
Man, that's
Yeah.
unity, bringing things together. I mean, this is unheard of to like this in Canada.
Listen, not every, like any business in the world, not every person's going to get involved.
Of course.
Right? But what I've learned is we grow, we be successful, and in time, people will see that we're not bad people, we're good people with a good ambition, with a good end goal.
Right.
And that's what we want, right?
Yep.
And even if we get away from ourselves, that's why we've mentioned about having the meetings with all the members that will be there to keep us on the straight and narrow if necessary. If we end up coming up with an idea that we think is great but isn't necessarily held by the same opinion by everyone else who's members of us, we'll give them a say. It's of my opinion as well that there is no such thing as standing still and staying the same. You're either trying to improve and get better, or you are actively getting worse.
Sure.
So by having these members, by having these dissenting opinions, or by just having different opinions in and of itself, that's how we grow, that's how you get better. And that's exactly that's our vision as a company and as a sanctioning body to provide to Canada by providing what they want. We, as a small committee, have an idea as to how we want it to grow, but of course that's why we take on opinions from other people so that they can better provide us with the opinion about where they would like us to go to better help them.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's just, again, it might as well just make it back to the Muay Thai World Cup rankings and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. I think every member should have a say. And what we'll do is we understand the size of Canada too. There'll be a
Ridiculous.
virtual meeting with it, right?
Sure.
So if there's someone right in Newfoundland that wants to come on, they can come on. Here's the meeting. They can come on. Hey, I feel like this guy should be number 3 in the rankings. Okay, we'll mark it down and Let's put it to a poll. You know, that's an example of
Sure.
things we can do. Hey, like with promotions, I want to have my guy fighting on this show. How can we make that possible? And we'll give the advice for it. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
These are the sort of things where, in my personal opinion, a lot of associated bodies, they don't let the people who pay into them have a say.
Right.
And that's what they should do.
Exactly, just as Kieran's saying
Yeah.
there, when you buy into the membership, it's not just a membership to get a few little scraps here and there. You're buying into a community of like-minded individuals in the same business, where we can then put you in contact with the relevant people if it's not even ourselves. So as Kieran mentioned just now, if you have a fighter and your gym is a member of WBC Muay Thai Canada, and you want to get him onto a specific show, and that promoter has also made themselves a member of WBC Muay Thai Canada, we have the facilitation there to be able to put you two in contact and then see how that works from that point onwards, rather than having to find that out all off your own back.
Right.
So it's not just a membership program; it's a community within Muay Thai across the country.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Just to ask you a sort of question back, do you know what
Sure.
the British Lonsdale belt is?
The what?
The British Lonsdale belt in boxing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you know. Right, so what that is in UK, for the people that don't know, is it's the ultimate British champion in boxing.
Right.
So you have to win it and you have to defend it. All the greats throughout the years of British boxers have won it. Lennox Lewis's to Tyson Fury's, Henry Cooper's, you name it, right?
Yeah.
And you have to defend it X amount of times before you actually own it.
Oh, no
Right?
way.
Yeah. So it's a British thing.
Cool.
And then what happens is that's like a stepping stone for your next stage, right, of what to do. But everybody likes all the British greats that have gone on from that. Everybody likes the fact that they've been a British champion.
Right.
Don't have that in Canada.
No.
So why not have a WBC national champion
Yeah.
for boxing? This is what I'm talking about, the boxing
Yeah,
side of
yeah.
things, where you have a recognised Canadian champion. You know, guess what? It's with WBC.
Right.
And the WBC will leeway you into getting into rankings properly, right? Will get you recognised, not just from the media side of things, but locally too. Because so many people know the green and gold, right?
Yeah.
So that's an angle that we're trying to work in with boxing on the professional scene. The amateur side, there's lots of other WBC amateur countries that do what's called the WBC Cup.
Okay.
How that works is, very simply, they'll have it in one city, or in our case, a province. In city and a province, they will have the best of the best fight each other, potentially a team or fighter of the night, and they'll win what's called a WBC Cup.
Okay.
And they'll create a little team, WBC Canada, for example.
Right.
What will happen is eventually, when all the provinces mix together and you find out who's the best of the best, is you can have a WBC Canadian Cup winner, can fly to Argentina, for example, and fight the WBC Cup winner from Argentina.
Right.
Now, this isn't, by the way, to step on anyone's toes that's thinking about getting to the Olympics. In my opinion, from what I've seen, we need to have more competition.
Sure.
Right? Without competition, you won't improve.
Yes, of course.
Being in the gym
yes.
is great. That's exactly where you need to be, but you need targets and goals.
Yep.
In the amateur circuit, we need to have more competition.
Yep.
So if we can launch the WBC Cup under our banner as such, and we can give promoters a chance to promote the WBC Cup in their province, then get them a chance to grow, get more fights on their record, and then eventually work with other WBC reps in other countries. What a goal that is.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know?
Hey, yeah.
Again,
yeah,
the experience of a lifetime. Something you look back on.
Yeah.
Hey, I went to Mexico and I fought some Mexican boxers. But what that does is it gains experience, because if you do want to go the Olympic route, then you've got some fights behind you.
Right.
I think in Paris coming up for the Olympic boxing, there's only 2 representing Canada.
Is that right?
2. One's a female, 75 kilos, I believe, and another a male too. We need to change that.
Yes.
Like 4 years' time, in the next Olympics, we should have more boxers. That's what my personal opinion is.
Damn.
And it's something to do with, by the way, what the Olympic side of things is doing. It's just they need more exposure. That's
Yep.
all we need. We need exposure for more competitions, because we have talked about this before, like hockey, like basketball, like football, soccer. They have regular competitions. It keeps their brain entertained, keeps them active.
Right.
We need that with the fight game.
Right.
Keeps you ticking over, keeps you well oiled,
Right.
so you don't end up, end up deteriorating by the time your next contest comes
Right.
around.
Stagnant.
Stagnant.
You
You get bored.
And exactly as I said before, it doesn't just apply to the company. Stagnation, in my opinion, isn't a thing. You're either actively getting better or you're actively deteriorating. There's no such thing as marking time. And to explain how the plan that we have for the ladder of championships and titles within Canada that we'll have, so for both boxing and Muay Thai, so we'll start off with a provincial champion for each area. From that point onwards, you can then step up to become an area champion. So we'll have Western Canada, Central Canada, Eastern Canada, Atlantic Canada, and Northern Canada. And from there, you can then go up to a national title. And from that point onwards, after it's outside of our remit, but in our capacity as working as members of the WBC, which is a global organization, you can then go on for professional boxing, the National Association, the North American Boxing Federation, which is the professional boxing continental title, then to international and world. And for Muay Thai, you then have the WBC Muay Thai North American champ, which is contested between Canada, the US, and Mexico. And it's, again, pushing our guys to then be able to get on those stages, where at the moment these contests and these titles have been heavily monopolized by the US due to them starting a little bit before we did, getting that getting their foot in the door first, having that higher level of competition. If we want to match that and get our guys on that stage, it's obviously in our best interest and everyone's fighting best interest to get more experience and to get more fights in to get up to that level. Like I mentioned before, people will grow to the size of the opportunity you give them. We're giving them that opportunity to get up to this stage should they want it.
Right. And around here before that, if you got an opportunity to fight for something like a WBC belt, you had to catch lightning in a bottle, basically. Like it just had to happen, right?
But we've got to talk about growth here too, right? This isn't just helping promoters. This isn't just helping the clubs. It's actually helping the commissions too and the growth for tourism. Because with more events, there's more bums on seats, more people watching it, more chance of potential sponsorships.
Right.
More chance of competitors going to gyms, I want to do this, right? That helps the local clubs, national clubs. And that's the whole thing behind it. Right. Some people just think, it's just a membership thing, right?
Right.
They're not actually seeing the whole side of this. It actually helps tourism. It actually helps put people on seats with great marketing, with when you have a championship fight and it's WBC, I'm going to go to it. More people will come to it because it's WBC, right?
Right.
And it will help the growth of sport. More money will get involved in the sport. That won't just head towards it's just us. It's not. It will help the clubs, promoters. It will help commissions. It will help Boxing Canada with more memberships.
Right.
Right. For the end goal, for the whole product of producing more talent.
Right.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and beyond just the business side of things here, with the clubs and with the commissions and with the boxers themselves, it has the community aspect to it. The more that you can put funding into gyms and clubs through the WBC, and the more people want and more people have an aspiration for something that now exists that is open and available to them, should they try and get to that level, the more that you can then go out into your local community and show that this is something that people can get involved in.
Right.
It's a particular passion project of mine, showing the transformative nature of combat sports and how that can give you an avenue in, as a young boy or young boy, girl, or even into adulthood. It is an avenue that you can take for that aggression.
And there's countless stories of it.
Or not even aggression itself, just something that you want to do to better yourself, where there is a clearly outlined, structured way for you to get better. You don't even need to necessarily compete in this sense. It is something that you can do to better yourself. You are rewarded for it. You are lauded for it. And what more could you want to do other than that?
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Jason, right? I mean, it's very much a blue-collar sport.
Yes.
We know that. But a lot of the people sponsoring and investing are from the white-collar industry, right?
Yep.
And we can stick some gaps together. That'd be great for that, right?
Yeah.
But I know, as a coach, and I know you both know as well, I've seen countless statements. It's literally scientific. You've seen these kids come through and how their lives have changed, whether they compete or not.
Yeah.
Just by joining a community, joining a gym, losing weight, getting fit, getting some IQ, joining
having some friends,
a nice group of people, getting some friends for life.
Yep.
Sometimes they get married, don't they?
That's right.
I've seen that a few times. I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
So all these things, the benefits of what your local gym can do, we want to help and support with, right? And by these guys attending events, attending the masterclass, they're all part of that too. Every single one of them.
Man, that's unreal. That's great.
Exactly. None of us here are coming to this from the perspective of being businessmen and owning businesses. Certainly, not myself in this case. We've all three of us, I'm sure I can speak for three of us here, and seen what Muay Thai and boxing, combat sports as a whole has done for us throughout our lives. And it's mainly that this is the avenue that we can take to give back to that and provide that same opportunity for others.
Well, that's how I feel. Like as I get a little bit older, I still am a heavily involved martial artist. I still want to be heavily involved in the community, whether it's through a podcast or whatever. But I like helping people. That's part of being a coach. I want to be part of it. I want to help. I want to be part of it for no other reason than that. I want to see my country succeed in the sport that I love the most. And so this is unbelievable, really, like from my point of view.
So that weekend, of course, is the masterclass.
Yes.
On the Saturday. I'll go through it. It basically starts off with a registration. We're going to have the three the legends will be doing a Waikaru Ramoi with a traditional Thai dancing. Talk about the culture of Thailand. We're going to launch the WBC Muay Thai and Boxing Canada sanction body. We're then going to start with the seminars. There's a lunch involved, that too, a Thai lunch.
Nice. 2
more seminars, then a dinner with a Q&A with some prizes to give away.
Wow,
so the whole day is literally from 8:30 in the morning till 5, 6 p.m. at night.
Nice.
And we try to work it so it's affordable for everyone.
Right.
Children too, we want there too, because that's the future, right?
Right.
So 3 of those legends, a lunch and an evening dinner, which is a buffet for $200.
Nice.
Crazy price, we think, right?
Yeah.
For a whole day. And then the Sunday, we're going to be doing a WBC Cup, which is boxing.
Nice.
And we're just going to have a very small card, just with some local talent, just to launch the boxing side, just to sort of put us out who we are.
Yep.
And it's all going to be held at the Grey Eagle Hotel. So we're sort of hosting it as a mini convention centre to try and bring some like-minded people together, some clubs together.
That'd be great.
Muay Thai and boxing together, just to show who we are and what we're doing.
Nice. I'm just out of my own curiosity. I don't know, shame on me, but I don't know much about the local boxing scene because I'm such a Muay Thai nerd. But is it difficult when you're doing these kinds of things, the difference between WBC Muay Thai and WBC boxing? Are they separate? Were they similar? Just kind of curious.
Yes, no, you're dealing with commissions. There are rules and regulations you must follow. And it's funny that you don't know about boxing, and the reason being is because it hasn't been put on the platform.
Right.
And it needs to be.
Yes.
I went to Golden Gloves a few months ago. Some great talent there. It was over 3 days.
Wow.
200 people there.
Huh.
That should be so much bigger.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's just great talent from Canada there. And I want them to stay with it. I want them to stick with it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I want to see more Steve Claggett's.
Yes.
Right. I want to see more champions from Canada.
Yep.
I want to see guys that surpass these guys and actually become legends.
That'd be something, eh?
That would be something. That's right. And it could be from anywhere because there's so many blue collar guys in Canada, especially those. What do you call them? Rig pigs. Those guys can fight, man.
They sure so can.
Yeah. So. I want to see all these areas come together. If we can help that a little bit and just bring some more platform attention to that talent, which I believe's there, you believe's there, you believe's there. That's why we're part of it, right?
And with it just feels so positive, like for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm really happy to be involved in that sense. So that's good. Promoters, there's lots of benefits. That's good. Okay, I'm a fighter. I want to be part of this. What do I got to do?
The main thing is, of course, is if you want to be ranked, at first, we're going to have to accept it. We're going to have our website open for people to enter in their details, right?
Okay.
That's the fighter. Then you've got to be with an associated gym.
Okay.
With an associated gym. As it grows, we're going to obviously want gyms to be members of WBC,
yes.
Right? That's upon saying that, it doesn't mean if you're not a member of WBC, you can't fight on our shows.
I did want to know that.
Right. But obviously we're trying to push for that. There isn't many. It's funny because coming from Europe, there's so many independent fighters. There isn't many independent guys in Canada. They're always affiliated with a local club of some sort, right?
Yeah.
But if the club wants to host an event with WBC, of course, then they've got to become a member.
Sure. That makes sense.
We will require at WBC events, there will be obviously a booklet which will show your record, which will show you're insured, So, you've got to have all those boxes ticked, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically similar to what they're doing with Boxing Canada, for example. Everyone has a booklet, so we can try and create a record which will help promoters, help you with the ranking, will help other fighters to say, oh, that's the guy I want to fight next. Right? It is a bit of an issue in many countries where that doesn't exist.
Yes.
And you're getting guys with 20 fights fighting guys with 1 fight, right?
Well, we don't want that, obviously. Right.
Yeah, we don't want that at all.
And from the perspective of the ranking system, what we've currently been generating between the committee is a points-based ranking system that takes the subjectivity out of the sport. So I won't go into the minutiae of the criteria that will come up on our website in due course. It will go through your win-loss draw record, the manner in which you won, the quality of the opponent you fought, whether or not you fought for any national titles or whatnot, and where we will have the form that will be up on the website. You will initially put through the questions that are stated out in the website, including your record, including the ways in which you've won across those records. We will develop an initial ranking list based on that, and that will be the first point of call for any fighters who want to become ranked with us. They'll have to send through that form. And then from that point onwards, once we have that baseline for everybody and we have the points that are allocated based on the information that's being given to us, once you then begin to fight on WBC sanctioned cards, we will then continue to use that points to then tally up against your record, and which, should the competition remain active, the rankings will remain fluid as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Going to take some time.
For sure.
I wish I could snap my fingers and everybody was on board. And, the ranking system's going to take some time for people to gain confidence in us. To become a member will take some time.
Sure.
Right?
And hopefully have the confidence in our competence that we're doing this for everybody.
Exactly. And again, it's not just a lonely soldier there. It's a whole board that we've got together of experts in every field to make this happen, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
And it's a non-for-profit business, so it's done very transparently. So
unbelievable. Wow. So when besides the masterclass seminars, when can I expect to be part of the sign-up process? When can I go, hey, I'm signing up? Do we have an estimate?
So for the signing up for gyms, what we're going to be doing as part of launching WBC Canada on that weekend is going to be the first opportunity for gyms to come and sign up with us. Now, while it will be gyms and promoters who will be members so that they can then sanction events for us, some of the benefits that will come from gym owners being members will be that there'll be regular coaching seminars, so that if you have people who you want to be WBC recognised coaches, we'll hold seminars for those to gain their qualification to that. There'll be judging and referee seminars, so that every member of a gym, should they wish to, could send through people who can go on to judging and referee courses to be able to host. There'll be certain benefits, as we've mentioned, with regards to insurance. And when it comes to promoters, you being a member means that you'll be able to sanction events that come through WBC, rather than as on an individual basis. Instead, if you are an independent fighter, although we've mentioned there aren't many, it will just be down to trying to find a promoter who is ranked, who is associated with the WBC. We will have a list up on our website in due course for all members who are all members and promotions who are members with the WBC, so that you can get into contact with those should you want to get onto any one of our shows. And as I mentioned with the gyms, there'll be a list of those there who are members. So if you want to find a gym to then take you forward in that sense, there'll be the list there as such. But the initial time that you can start signing up for that should be on September the 21st at the Amazing Muay Thai Masterclass held at Grey Eagle.
I think one of the big things, which is a big benefit also, adding to all those amazing things Zach just said, is we're going to have a grading syllabus system for kids.
Right.
Because that's the future.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's took just over 2 years to develop from the WBC head office. And it's an amazing, thorough system, which the idea behind having this grading syllabus is a gym will be able to benefit from this too.
Right.
We talked about retention.
Yep.
We want kids to retain in the gym.
Yep.
By having a legitimate WBC headquarters grading system, it literally goes from 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 17 years old.
Wow,
it's a very thorough system.
Wow.
Where the gym can benefit from this. They do 3 months, 6 months courses. And then every year, not this one, but following Masters seminar, every year you'll have an annual Masters grading for the kids. So all the
nice,
kids can
okay.
come along in front of Sunshine, in front of Yods and Clay, whoever it is going to be the
Yeah.
next masterclass, and actually get their certificate signed off by the best in the game.
Unbelievable.
So I understand sometimes with competition with kids, it's not always about actually fighting.
Yep.
Okay. Sometimes it's about, okay, I want to get to the next grade. How can I get better? How can I improve my IQ? This grading system, which every member will get access to, they can use that inside their own gym for their own benefits.
Nice.
For their kids to grow, their memberships to grow, to retention to grow, to keep them
Nice.
part of that circle. And every year they'll do an annual Masters one as well, right?
Nice.
So I like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really like that. Just to, the next generation is what it's all about. We talked about it before.
Yep.
We've got some real good talent. We've got a couple of kids from your gym that are really good too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyson fighting for a world title next weekend.
No, I
This
heard
weekend.
that. I saw that. Great poster too.
Attaboy.
But that's the idea, right? If he can be part of that as well, where he can develop his IQ of, oh, this is how the scoring system works in Thailand. This is how the scoring system works for that stadium. This is how I deliver a knee in a certain way, or this is the name for it in Thai.
Right.
Right? Education.
Yeah.
Education. And although he competes a lot, he can now be in the gym working on specific techniques as part of the program.
That's right.
So-
and the culture of it as well.
The culture, yeah, it's all involved. And honestly, this program is crazy thorough.
Awesome.
Literally from 5 years old up to 17 years old.
Phenomenal.
They've done it took them just over 2 years, about 26 months to build and design. And everyone that becomes a member will get access to that. We'll give you the whole access, and you can integrate it into your gym, and then obviously showcase it on the annual masterclasses.
Nice. Man, so the big kickoff is September 22nd, our first long weekend, sorry.
It is indeed.
Nice. Dude, exciting. So I want to be involved. I want to be part of this seminar. What do I got to do?
Simple. Go to our new website, WBC Muay Thai Canada. We haven't launched tickets yet for the boxing. We're just waiting to finalise the card, so that's a bit of a separate website. But for that masterclass, it's WBC Muay Thai Canada. We are running a crazy competition at the moment, which will finish August the 10th, which is one free ticket, but also a signed glove from all three of the athletes.
Damn.
From an official Fairtex One Championship glove too.
Nice.
So they'll be signed by them, by all three of the masterclass guys. And chance to enter in that is follow our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram. And for a chance to win on that, if you don't win, sweet deal, $200, come along, join a big community that's growing,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Green and Gold Army.
That's just it. Besides this seminar, be part of the community. Come kick this off with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Exactly. It's not just a great opportunity to learn from the masters who are going to be there. It's a great opportunity to network with the like-minded individuals who you're going to find at this seminar. There's no end to opportunities that can be made just from speaking to the other individuals who are going to be there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you got some questions, didn't you, from people?
I do, yes. So before
Where's your piece of paper?
I got them in my noggin because I forgot my piece of paper.
No problem.
But real quick, is there anything else we want to mention on this before we maybe veer off?
No, I think we've gone through exactly who we are and what our ambition is and what our targets are. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited that you guys are involved in it too.
Thanks. Well, I'm unbelievably excited, and this just made me more excited. I'm learning things right now, just sitting here. I'm like, unbelievable.
I couldn't agree more. And as we are here through the ShoutOut podcast as well, if there's any questions that arise before we get to the 21st of September that can be sent through, we can answer it, in due course, as this is an avenue that you can reach us at. Yeah,
please, obviously, yeah. I absolutely want the podcast connected in that sense. I've said it a million times on the podcast that I always say, like, any idiot can talk about the UFC. I want to talk about here and then build out Canada. And since the WBC Canada is such a focus on that, I very much want to be involved in that and the podcast. So, please, any questions, feel free to send them to the podcast as well. Okay, some questions. Number one, when is the WBC rankings going to be updated? And by the way, that's from there's 1,000 people that sent me that.
Well, of course, the launch is next week to be able to submit your details in. We'll give that some time to build and grow.
Yep.
And then you're probably looking at, like last time when we attempted this several years ago, probably take a good few weeks.
Sure.
So ideally, it would be nice to do it September 21st,
Yeah.
have it all in place by then. That would be a great target for us. But the intention and first part is to like and share that page to other fighters, other gyms. Hey,
Right.
like you got that good fighter. Why are you not in the rankings?
Right.
You know, you
Yeah.
qualify for it. Get in there.
That's right. Right.
So yeah, the website will have that next week as a portal, and he's built it brilliantly.
Nice.
And with some real good details in there for you to fill out, and for you to try and compile.
yeah. Here we go again. That's all good. It's I'm excited to be part of it, and as somebody who commentates on the Muay Thai World Cup and does the podcast, for me it's also fun to be able to see
Yeah.
where everyone's going up and down, who they're fighting, and be part of it. Gives me something to talk about even.
Exactly, and just to start for 10, you know, this initial rankings that's going to be coming through the portal that's on there. This is, as it states, just the initial. If you get up onto the rankings and you're not happy with where you are, there's only one thing to do from that point onwards: get fighting, get scrapping, and improve.
There you go. Yeah, with the point system that'll be provided, which by the way I thought was brilliant. Next one: is there going to be another Muay Thai World Cup in Calgary?
Good question. It will be next year.
Okay.
We were due to have the final of the Road to One.
Yep.
So there's been some changes to that. One is very simply, Hitman Fight League attempted a 4-man Road to One, two
Right.
finals in one day, and both semi-finals couldn't make it out to the finals. Those little gloves make a difference,
Oh,
right?
man, do they ever.
So there's a bit of a rule change to it where you can't have the 4-man anymore. Like, that has to be single fights.
Yes.
So what I assessed from the situation was Victor Alvin won the final, won the quarterfinal as such.
Yep.
And he's from Toronto. So why not host the event there?
Sure.
So November 23rd, we're going to be hosting it at the reserve out there near London, Ontario. Ovenida, I'm gonna get it right. Onovida Reserve.
All right.
All right. Community centre out there. And we've got some WBC title fights on that as well.
Nice.
Quinn Muslick will be on that.
Attaboy. Friend of the show.
So I'll tell you who he's fighting.
Yes.
You don't even know this one, do you?
I don't.
He's going to be fighting Daniel Kacheco.
Shut up! What a fight!
Yeah.
Get
Good
out
fight,
here.
right?
Yeah, that's a great fight.
Yeah, fantastic. There's lots of guys on the card.
Overhands aplenty.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, from both. Yeah, geez.
Yeah, yeah.
One's southpaw, one's orthodox.
That's right.
So those two guys will be scrapping it. We're going to have Tim Lowe on the card.
Nice.
Which is great. I love Tim.
Loved him.
Yeah. Sean Newberry of the amateur side. He'll be making his pro debut on this card.
Good. I know that guy's been starving for a
We
fight.
have the Road to One on there too.
Okay.
And we are going to have an aspect. I can't give names away, but I will tell you one part of it. We are going to have another Road to One on there.
Nice.
An 8-man elimination tournament, which will be over 3 events, which we held in Calgary. This time, the 3 events will be held over 3 shows in Toronto.
Nice. Wow.
All right.
I gotta be honest with you too. Probably in the last year, Ontario was killing it with the Muay Thai scene. Hey, the shows,
All of a sudden,
the fighters.
all of a
Yes,
sudden, because
totally
when I
agree.
first came, it was like Fitzpatrick's done a great job out there, and there's
Mike.
other guys, you know,
bet.
like there's been a few other promoters that have launched over the last 12 months to 18 months. Have
Yep.
done amazing jobs. Really, really good promoting. Tony Disco, of course, being one.
Yep.
Eric Roche has launched something
Yep.
with Prestige
Rommel.
Fight Series. Yeah,
Yep.
Rommel.
Yep.
So there's been all these guys because they're seeing talent to come through, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I like to see. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah. On fire. Yeah. Awesome. And then I also saw there was another one that you just maybe. Who else did you just mention? You just put a matchup out there.
Tim Lowe.
Was it? I don't remember. Was it Sean Newberry maybe?
Sean Newberry's going to make his pro debut. Yeah.
There was a couple big dudes.
Tim Lowe, you have...
Maybe it was Tim. I don't think it was. I can't remember. I just saw the poster maybe a couple days ago on Instagram for it. But regardless, doesn't matter. Long-winded one. Are we okay with, for example, Yodson Klai? It looked like was maybe making a comeback or thinking about it. The question was basically, are we okay with these guys coming back out of retirement to what seems like either crush cans or fight influencers, or should these guys just stay retired?
We'll both do one on that one. I'll go first. I understand why they do.
Yes.
Right? It's sometimes sad to see it, though. You know,
Yes.
like, I don't want Tyson to fight Jake Paul. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, it's an idol and a legend for many people, including myself. I don't want to see that.
Yep.
I also understand that they missed the boat of an opportunity of a nice financial windfall.
Yeah.
I understand that. It's just got to be the right matchup. It's so sad sometimes when you see them beat up, like hammered.
Yeah.
You know, like you see an Evander Holyfield goes on too long.
Yes.
I didn't like seeing that.
That's right.
I just hated it. But I also understand the business side of it, and it not just the fighting gives them a windfall of cash, but potential other chances to make some money, whether it's seminars, opening up a gym, or gives them some financial leeway that they didn't get through fighting, right?
Right. Yep.
You think all those fights Sancho had, don't get me wrong, he's still kicking ass.
Dude,
right?
that last knockout was
42, 3, something like that, right?
Insane.
He's insane, the guy, right?
Insane.
I don't want him to go on. I mean, he's done amazing to get to this stage, and he's earning really good money now, right? Do I want to see him in one championship? No way.
Yep.
I don't want to see that.
Yep.
Do I want him to see him fight a higher level, like great guy? I don't want to see that.
Agreed.
Earn your money,
Yep.
do it the right way.
Yep.
That's how I see it, right? I get the lure though. You still have this little percentage in you that when you quit fighting, you don't quit.
Yeah, you don't quit.
You still got that
Right.
thing inside of you sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And then they get lured back in several years later.
Yeah.
I'm hearing this recently with like Amir Khan talking about a comeback to fight Jake Paul.
Oh, don't.
Or Logan Paul, sorry, actually.
Either way. Just don't.
Yeah, just don't do
needed.
it.
Yeah, not needed.
I get it, like Amir Khan fighting another guy that's sort of like, you know, two old legends fight each other.
Yep.
Make some pay-per-view money, make some sponsor money.
They get their
walk
they get
away.
their rocks off. You know, they get back in there.
Yeah. Good fun.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
What are you-
My opinion on this isn't too dissimilar from Kieran's here. You know, we've covered the financial aspect of, you know, why they'll often get into these situations and come back to fighting again, which, you know, without knowing any individual's personal situation, I can't really comment on. You know, everyone does their own things for their own reasons. But with regards to the more philosophical side of things, as Kieran mentioned, you know, I can understand the mentality around when all you've known yourself to be is a fighter. And that's, you know, for a lot of the time, as we mentioned, with it being a blue collar sport and fighting, you know, both Muay Thai and boxing being a way to, you know, to better yourself and take yourself out of a situation you were in, it does become your life. And there's very much the confusion afterwards of what do you do then once it's over anymore.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense as to why a lot of guys after this point are then going to, you know, want to crack back at it again, because they're not necessarily unhappy, but they're slightly dissatisfied,
Unfulfilled.
and unfulfilled, as you say, with where life has gone afterwards. With regards to fighting influencers and you know, so anyone through social media, my opinion would be that there is no sense in tarnishing your legacy with what could potentially end up being, yes, a great payday, but, you know, one of the things we love about Muay Thai and boxing is when the best fight the best, or people fight others who they're well matched against.
Yes.
Because of the story that it creates. I get that there's a story to be created with influencers, but with the way that it can then tarnish your legacy as someone who has fought at the greatest heights that there are, to then bring yourself down to that low of fighting someone just because.
Yeah.
Which it can be to a sense. It's not really something that I'm a particular fan of. Will I still watch it? You know, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
a lot of the times it's because it's our own nostalgia, trying to hope that they will be the same kind of fighter they were when we were watching them when we were younger, and still getting that same rush. Hoping that you know, whichever influencer or whichever other person they're fighting will just get ragdolled like we know that they can do. But you know, the one fighter that will always win is Father Time.
That's right.
You know, there's only so much you can do in that sense. So while I'd never be one to say someone don't fight, it would just be to take a good look at why you're fighting and who you're fighting. So Senshai being an example, when he you know, took a step down from the top level competition, you know, fighting you know, for Yokkao and fighting at Lumpini, to now fighting, you know, on some of the promotions he is, you know, the people who he's fighting against aren't, you know, high level like social media influencers and things like that. They are still fighters who are who, you know, in their mind, are given the opportunity of a lifetime to fight against a legend. Similar things with other legends of the sport in both boxing and Muay Thai. That's not something that I personally would have a problem with when you're fighting people who are going up through those ranks, who are taking this as an opportunity, knowing what it is to fight against a legend of the sport, but being within their own mind of knowing that it's not the same person they were. Now, in my opinion, that's perfectly fine. The issue when that happens is when people have an overinflated sense of self, where, you know, for example, you have a influencer who fights a high-level boxer and wins. will call himself Billy Big Bollocks because he thinks that he's just fought the same person that was there, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not the same person in any way, shape or form. And I think some people certainly need to realize that because they're going after these fights for the legacy perspective for themselves of knowing they can say, oh, I beat so-and-so.
Yeah.
But you've got to
Without
realize
the date beside it.
Yeah, you've got to realize you're not fighting the same person you think you are.
No, I think deep down they know that, right?
Yeah.
But
Gotta sell.
they've got to sell. But it's not that. It's the next generation of kids that. I know it's sad to say, but there's a lot of kids out there that don't know who Mike Tyson is, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
And they'll be like, "Oh, I've not watched on YouTube his fights.
Right.
Oh, the only fight I saw is he fought Jake Paul and lost."
That's right. But I've seen every Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the sad reality. That's why you shouldn't do those certain fights, right?
Yeah, agreed.
But like you just said there, here's the truth. I don't like the fight. Do you like the fight?
Nope.
If it happens, do you like the fight? Are you going to watch it?
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's the business side.
Yep.
So that's the promoter cap that comes on.
Sure.
Like the promoter must be like, this is genius.
Yeah.
This is great. I can't believe it doesn't look. I don't know if it's going to happen anymore. By the way.
Yep.
I think
Probably.
after that fight, the size difference. He was 215 pounds, Jake Paul.
Yeah.
After the weigh-in, where he
Yeah.
weighed 198 or something.
Yeah. Well over 200.
Yeah, Tyson is, although like you said, Father Time has got him, is also his physique isn't the bulkiness
Right.
that he was,
Yeah,
right? He
yeah.
just, he's shrunk a bit, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
For sure.
and to go on to this as well, a lot of them are fights more for spectacle rather than fights for the love of the sport. So you'll find massive weight disparities between a lot of these influencer fights. Not even though they may have weighed in correctly at the time, it's not their natural weight. They just know that these are two big names that will bring in a big draw.
Yeah.
So they will artificially get themselves heavier than they would be comfortable walking at, or cut themselves down lower than they would be comfortable at. And in that sense, it also detracts from what the fight can actually be, because we all know when people are correctly matched at the correct weights, where they feel comfortable, you can get some phenomenal scraps happening.
Yep.
But when people are trying to get to a certain point just because they know they need to fight because it will sell the tickets rather than this performance and the show that they're going to put on, it does detract from the love of watching it to begin with. You're purely watching it for the nostalgia or for the marketing at that point rather than for the sport itself, which I recognise for us is probably a bit different because we love the sport itself and others may know it just because of the individuals. But
Sure.
As a purist, that's, I'm always going to have that opinion.
And not to go off, to round it off as well, is, I've dealt with commissions before. I've had problems, disparities with a few pounds difference, right?
Right.
Like, how's they permitted that fight?
Right.
It's like 30 odd years difference between them.
Yeah.
And on the day of the fight, there'll probably be 20 pounds difference.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
It's the money, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Which I wouldn't, if I, as a sanctioning body now, I wouldn't sanction that.
Yeah.
Like,
good.
Personally, I get it though, there's a lot of money on the line, so it helps the businesses and stuff, but there is integrity to it too, right?
That's right.
And I'm wondering like how the commission has worked. I know they've changed the rules a little bit. I think they made it bigger gloves and I think 2-minute rounds, and there's only 6 rounds,
Keep
something
changing.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't it just? But and now it was going to be an exhibition, it got turned to an actual
Pro fight.
pro fight.
Ranked or something, yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
And by the way, I'm the same. If the matchups are right, give her. But
Yeah.
other than that, I have no interest. I'm sure you can figure out who this is from. How do you like being Kieran number 2?
That is Kieran from Australia.
It is.
He's done a wonderful job in Australia. I'll
Sure
give
has.
him that phenomenal job. He's that guy's fighter Rajadamnern, won championship.
Yep.
He's traveling in and out of Thailand all the time. Good
WBC
guy, actually.
champions, national world.
Yeah,
Big
good
fan.
guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. He's still number 2 because that's what I was doing 20 years ago. So
You were still watching Sesame Street.
that's correct. Yeah, correct.
All right, next one. So we talked a little bit about Ontario. So I had a 3-part question. So the next part was, is Fitzpatrick still your favorite?
Never.
All right.
You'll never be my favorite. He causes me headache every day. I don't know how he's bald. Because he stresses me out way more.
Well, that leads us to his next question.
Yeah.
So is Team Bald a real thing?
Yeah, of course it is. Jake Peacock's part of that too.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got something for Jake Peacock. Jake asked me on Instagram, because he's going to be there as part, because he's a WBC champion, right?
Yeah.
And the masterclass.
Nice.
He wants to do a spar with Sanchai. I approve it. You're getting 1 minute with Sanchai.
Woo! Yes. Yes.
Go Sancho, go Sancho, go.
Perfect. Right on.
So I'm going to be there with the phone. I'm going to say to Sancho, cartwheel kick. Come on now, blow that wig off that he's got, that last remaining hair bud he's got. No. So it'd be good. That'd be cool, yeah.
Sure, of course, yeah. And to have Jake involved as well. I mean, phenomenal. By far, my opinion, Canada's most dynamic combat sports athlete: boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo.
Totally
anything.
agreed.
Yeah.
I think he was brilliant when he was at Lion Fight,
Yep.
and when he came home as such, and he fought in front of his home crowd, his character just came out.
Agreed.
With his fighting skills that were already there, and obviously improved because that's what time did for him. But what he really, I was really impressed with was his microphone skills.
Good call. Yeah.
And how he's approached himself on media.
Yep.
That's massively improved.
Agreed. Yep.
You know, I was like, you got it now. You understand it.
That's
you
it.
understand what we're doing. Not just about you just being a good fighter. You're now creating the person that you truly are times 100.
Yeah.
And understanding what this opportunity is for you by using your media outlets. And now he's getting on, different podcasts. He's getting sponsored by
Music
different
videos.
things. Yeah, music videos.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
great,
that.
man. Good on him.
And and obviously One Championship keeps sharing all his stuff, which is, I love it. Good
That's
for
it.
him, man.
Yep.
It's exactly the ambition was from the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I
So
figured. Awesome.
I'm really happy for him.
Damn right. While we're on that topic, how about, I know there's rumblings, but Taylor McClatchy and Cody, do they have fights coming up as well?
Yeah, so Cody definitely. He's going to be fighting on the Atlanta card.
Nice.
Sorry, that's wrong. The Colorado card in September.
Okay.
Jake will fight on the Atlanta card. Taylor, not yet, but they're penciling her in for the Atlanta. They're working on that.
Okay.
That's the aim for that one.
Beauty. Good. Okay, and then I think the last one I had was, I'm just trying to remember how to word this. Do you think it's possible for all promoters to come together as a community? And I kind of think the more of the question was, and lease like a small space where everybody can run shows out of regularly. Do we think that's possible to all work together? And is it time to rethink the promotion game? I'm not really sure what they mean by that, but it was a long-winded question. But what I guess I'm hearing is, do you think it's possible for all promoters, all gyms, to come together, A, and cooperate in general? And B, do you think we can do that, cooperate together, and actually like open our own for Calgary Stadium where we can all, Monday night is Team Smanage, Tuesday night is you. For example.
I get it. To be fair, that'd be very difficult to do. The only place you could do that is in Thailand, right?
Sure.
You're always going to have like a promoter will have their own name for their promotion. Obviously, want to do their own thing.
Yep.
But this is where the WBC will be helpful to those promoters because you can have a WBC belt on your own promotion. Right. Jason Bryant FC.
Right.
That's WBC belt.
Well, so basically the answer is yes, it just won't be in the same house.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're always going to get that,
Sure.
It'd be like trying to get Bellator, UFC, and PFL all together. It's not going to happen, right?
Possible, yes. Probable, no.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at boxing, you have the sanctioning bodies, the WBCs and the other ones as well, right?
Yeah.
And the WBCs are always involved in those big fights, and that's how it should be, right?
Yes.
Because that's deciding who really is the number one.
Yes, agreed. Last question. Do you guys know who the commentators are yet for the November card in Ontario?
No.
Damn it. Lost my job.
It's you. It's you. We don't know who the...
I never want to assume.
Yeah, we don't know who the colour will be. That would be... Fitzpatrick is promoting using the name Muay Thai World Cup for that. He's going to be obviously using WBC and the Road to One for that too.
Yep.
So it's going to be very much the core staff of MTWC that you've seen, but just in a new piece of land, which is Ontario. Right?
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, can't wait.
Good crowd out there.
Agreed. Yeah.
Very different crowd.
Yeah. Fun, man. They like fights.
Oh, yeah, they love fights.
Yeah, it's fun out there. All right, man. Well, that brings... I don't know if there's anything... Is there anything else? That's all the questions I had. Is there anything else before we're out of here?
No, I think you answered... Sorry, you questioned some great ones, and we answered as thoroughly as we could.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
With the understanding as well, I mean, I'm involved in some answers maybe just aren't here yet, and they'll become forefront as things get going, right? The wheels get greased.
Exactly. Enter into that competition.
Yeah.
Social media, Instagram, Facebook, WBC Muay Thai Canada. tag 3 people, like, share, put it on your story for a chance to win an amazing prize.
I've never been so popular. I got tagged so much from that. I don't know why me, but I did. Jay Bryan.
And as I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions or suggestions for WBC Muay Thai Canada, send them through. We're working on what we know how to do and what we know what to do, but you don't know what you don't know. And if there's anything that comes up for something that we might have missed off, we'll get to working on it. And it's the best way to get in touch with us.
Beauty. All right, guys. Other than that, I'm back from holidays, and I'm going to try to pump out a good 4 or 5 before September. So let's get after it. See you later.